Whereabouts in England are you?
I'm from London.
Wow. London, England, all the way across the pond.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to introduce you as I met you on YouTube as a mental health advocate. You've been through some
Yeah.
serious depression, anxiety
Yeah.
too, or not really? Both?
Yeah. Yeah. Trauma and anxiety, I would say.
Okay. So you want to get going with this. You have some questions you want to propose, and I'm
Yeah.
going to answer them for you, and then we'll hopefully answer a lot of other people's questions in the process. So these are answers that have been proposed, maybe popular. So we're gonna
Yeah.
answer these questions for people as if they were asking them to us, because I believe what you're going to ask me are some pretty heavy questions and in depth. So let's go at the first. What first question you want to get out there for everybody?
The first question I have is, how do I keep going when I feel like nothing is gonna get better? And I feel like loads of people will relate to this same question. Because there's a moment where you feel like stuck and it feels like there's no way out.
Yeah, right. So I always say this, and I said this the other day in one of my posts. I said, how can you feel good about anything when you feel like shit about everything? Fair?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I felt that, Bernard, I felt that way for the longest time. And what finally started helping me is when I put these ideas that I'm sharing with people into practice, and that is, I call it, you have to master your thoughts, because the only thing fucking with you is your thoughts. Because
Yeah.
if you sat in a room with 10 other people and you told them how you're feeling, the only person in that room that's going to feel the weight of the heaviness is you, because how we perceive it. So if you can learn, like I had to learn this, it's not easy, but it's possible. When you can start to separate from those thoughts, because remember, the only thing that's messing with you are those thoughts. It's how you
Yeah.
perceive your situation. Fair?
Yeah, it's true. I agree with you. And I also feel like there's a moment where you need to kind of like make a decision to push away those thoughts and to not engage with them. And that way you become more in line with being positive.
Right. Well, what I have found, and again, I cannot diagnose anybody or tell anybody how to live their life. I can share my raw personal journey with people. And within that story, I'm hoping there is insight and information that people can pull and start to apply to their own lives. But I can say this, if you don't use the information, nothing's going to change, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. You have to learn how to start using this. Like you can go online and watch all the fitness videos you want, but if you never step into a gym and apply what you're learning, you're not going to see any results. Just like
It's so
this,
true.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to literally make a decision. Okay, this is what I want to do. And once you start running that program, in my experience, once you get a taste of this new feeling, you're not going to ever want to go back,
It's true.
right?
Yeah.
What
It is a
what
hard
else?
just it is a hard thing to do, but once you do it, it feels great.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
learning an instrument, right?
yeah, and it takes practice as well. I think that's what I would say to everyone.
Do you play do you play any musical instruments?
Actually, I used to play guitar in school. I've got my guitars with me now.
You used to play guitar. Well, remember the first time you I used to play guitar too, and then I didn't like it, so I stopped playing it. But the only way you learn how to play is by practicing every day.
Exactly.
Same with this, right?
Yeah. I got my next question, and it
Go
is
ahead.
that sometimes I feel down, but I've got no reason. So I just don't understand it, and I don't know why I feel like that.
Yes, and I can relate to that. I'm sure hundreds and thousands of other people can relate to that. You're like, why am I feeling this way? I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but I can tell you this. If your brain is accustomed, this is what I learned, if your brain is accustomed to feeling a certain way, and you keep practicing, because everybody right now is practicing a program. We all are doing it. Every single person who's breathing is also practicing a program right now. And the brain will get accustomed to that feeling. No matter what you're seeing out there, you're still feeling it here. You're not feeling it in your hand. You're not feeling it in your shoulder. You're feeling it right here. And the brain is a muscle. And the more you practice, whatever you practice, it's going to remember it and it's going to feel it.
So it becomes
Does
kind
that make
of like
sense?
part of your routine. And this is why we need to make
Yeah,
the changes so it doesn't repeat.
it's like a habit, a routine, a formula. Again, we
Yeah.
keep doing the same thing over. That's why if you follow Dr. Joe Dispenza, my favorite book by him is called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, because we are all in a habit of being who we are. And until we have a pattern interruption, it can break that habit, nothing's going to change.
Yeah. That's very true. Have another question. And is I think that I've had moments and loads of times where I'm feeling really good, but I always have this fear of it like coming back, and I always think like, am I just having a good year or a good few months, or is it just like the depression is on pause? Like, does it ever fully go away, or is it something that people will deal with like forever?
And that's a great question, because I know people in my family who experienced depression pretty much, I would say, intervals their entire lifetime. And to your point, I experienced depression, suicidal depression, paralyzed anxiety, PTSD, chronic insomnia, all of it continuously for 5 consecutive years. Like, there wasn't I don't look back and say, okay, that day was, I didn't have, no, every single day I was experiencing these symptoms.
Yeah.
But what happened is once I started doing the work and reprogrammed the brain, because the brain is like a muscle, it's pliable, it's malleable, right? There's neuroplasticity is a real deal. You see, if your dominant feeling is always going to win. Whatever feeling is dominant, that feeling is always winning. So in order to feel something different, you have to do something different. And the thousands of hours that I put into living a depression-free life, now the norm, my brain now, the dominant feeling is emotional freedom. But I can't honestly tell you this. It took thousands of hours of work, and that I don't mean like hard work. I mean continuous work. Like literally, I make it a point every single day, and I haven't stopped doing this, to get into a meditation and sit there and reprogram my brain and say, who am I without this feeling? How would I feel if I didn't feel fucked up by the thing that's fucking me up? And I sat there with it, and I let my brain, and my body wanted to get up so many times. I just want to get out of the chair. And I said, no, stay here in this chair until you start getting a new feeling. And when you start getting a sprinkle, just a little taste of that, it's like, okay, I'm onto something now. But it has to be consistent. Like, what hand do you brush your teeth with?
With my right.
Okay, so tonight, for the next 30 days, try brushing your teeth with your left hand. Tell me how easy it is. It's
Yeah.
not going to be easy. But I promise you, the more you're aware of it, you're going to pick up that toothbrush with your right hand. Oh, go pick it up with your left hand, and get toothpaste in your hair, your eyes, and all your nose and everything, right? And it's going to be messy at first. But if you keep doing it, Bern, I promise you, it does get easier, and then it signals the brain that this is your new norm. Okay, now the brain says, oh, wait a minute. I went to go pick it up with my right hand. No, but I'm training my brain to left-hand it. And now before you know it, 30, 60, 90 days, and 1 year from now, it's like natural. So
Yeah.
I can only speak from my own experience, but that's exactly how I could explain it to you.
Yeah. I wanted to touch upon the meditations you said that you do. During those, do you sort of focus on getting rid of the thoughts, or you try to focus on feeling something new? Like, what's the best way
That's a great.
help yourself?
No, that's great. So yeah, because so many times I want to say, okay, I want to produce this new feeling of happiness. I want to force happiness. No, it doesn't. It didn't happen that way for me. See, it really was a two-step process. The first step is just sitting down. Even if you say, okay, I'm going to make 15 minutes. I'm going to carve out 15 minutes every morning before I do it. If it's important to you, take the 15 minutes, sit down in meditation, and close your eyes. And when you close your eyes, you will see nothing but black. Or something else. Laying in bed, before your feet hit the ground, before you get on the phone and start scrolling, while you're still in bed, a baby step. Lay in that bed, head back in the pillow, eyes closed, and imagine the space, just the space inside your bedroom. It's just space. In that space, now if you can associate a feeling, if you could feel what that space feels like, what would it feel like to you? Without doing anything else, just laying in bed. And I promise you this, that space is not depressed. That space is not riddled with anxiety. That space is not feeling hopeless. That space is not feeling bad. It's just space. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I know it sounds silly. It sounds trivial. It may sound stupid to some people. It may sound ridiculous. I get all that. I 100% get it. But you have to understand this. There was a point in my life that I was contemplating taking a pearl handle pistol, sticking it to my head, and blowing the brains out the side of my head on the bathroom floor. As I'm watching myself in the mirror with this gun in my hand, that was the thoughts going through my head. It was so painful and god awful that I was willing to try anything because I wanted to get out of that feeling.
Yeah.
So
I feel
if your
you.
depression, not you personally, but people's depression is mild. Like I lived with mild depression for a lot of years of my life. I understand that. So then I would do more things to try to numb the pain. Go out shopping, drinking, buying more money, spending bigger cars, houses, all that shit that I did to numb that pain. I got by for a long time. Those were my coping techniques. But it came to a point that the pain got so intense, those coping techniques were no longer working. So I had to try something different. And when I did something different, I started feeling something different.
Yeah, I agree. Which leads me on to like a story of mine. When I was younger, I think about 14 or 15, I did also try to kill myself. I laugh about it now, but thinking back, I think I felt like so lonely and I felt like I didn't have anyone to speak to. And I think it's really important to realize that you can ask for help. So my next question is like, how do we ask for help without feeling weak or dramatic, and what is the best place to go? Like, is it family, friends, or professionals?
Yeah, well, I relate it to this. If you broke your arm, you wouldn't hide it from everybody. You would go see a doctor. Right?
Yeah.
If you broke your leg, if your tooth was hurting, you go see a dentist.
Yeah.
If your arm was broken, you go see an orthopedic surgeon, a doctor. And this is the same thing. The stigma around mental health is so half-assed backwards. There's nothing wrong with experiencing mental health. The problem is we attach a stigma to it, think because we're not feeling well, that there's something wrong with it. But do you realize the numbers of people who are experiencing mental health? You ask anybody in the street or in your family, it's like every other person you're talking to has experienced this. So where's the stigma and why is there stigma?
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. I think loads of people are experiencing different kinds of things. But again, in that same way, people are still feeling really lonely to speak up. And yeah, I think something has to change about that.
It is a lonely place to be. I'm not going to lie. It is a very lonely place to be. But I can say this. I never had any hesitation about asking for help. As a matter of fact, I would ask anybody. I would go anywhere. I would go to a church. I would ask my family, a friend, anybody I could just get some advice from. I'd go online sometimes and I just find a video and I would message that person on YouTube and say, "Hey, I'm feeling what you're feeling. What's your advice?" And I think what happens is this. I think if you reach out to somebody who's been there, it's different than just asking somebody who'd never been there, because those are going to be two different answers.
Yeah. That's true.
Right?
In terms of getting treatment, what do you think about medication?
Well, I think if medication works for you, then then use it. I mean, they overprescribed me 20 to 25 different medications in the beginning, and then over time it just kept adding up. And finally, my med manager said, "Listen, I think you have. I'm going to diagnose you. I'm thinking you have treatment-resistant depression because nothing's working." So then my anxiety is like, "Oh shit, the meds aren't working. I'm feeling like shit. What's gonna happen? Am I doomed?" That increased my sense of hopelessness. So I say, but I know plenty of people who are taking the meds and they're doing just fine. Are you on meds right now?
No, I was given meds when I was a kid, I tried a few different ones, but I'm not using any meds. No, I'm kind of against it. I think that obviously sometimes you do need it to get you out of that space. But I think it's good to, like you said, use your own mind and thinking to help yourself.
Right. You know, I think the medication can be a good bump for some people. For me, it
Yeah.
was. It really wasn't. The only med that it really got close to me feeling somewhat different was Trintellix, and I was on that. I was on that for quite a while, and at the time, it was almost like a beta test. They were. They, I don't. They were. My psychiatrist was giving me Trintellix, and he said, "We just got this one in. I have some samples for you. Let's try it." And he kept giving me, give me the samples, and I was taking those on a regular basis. And I started feeling a little differently, but it wasn't profound. It wasn't profound.